am Katz Kiely. I am the CEO of Beep and I am the founder of Frontline.live. My three principal values would be transparency, authenticity, and continuous improvement. That's two words, but it's a value. You will laugh at this. So when I was a child, when I was a little girl, I was a Catholic. And my brother, when I was a little girl, said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, "The Pope." And he said, "You can't be the Pope." And I said, "Why not?" And he said, "Because the Pope is a man." And I said, "Well, that's all wrong." So, no, I did not want to be. When I was a child, I wanted to be a doctor. I was a scientist. I think very much like a scientist. And when I started doing A-levels, which in England is your 16 to 18 exams, I started doing physics, chemistry, biology, and art. And they made me drop art because it was distracting. And so I don't think I ever got over that, because I've always sat in between science and art and I can't see the difference. So the answer is, I did not always want to be an entrepreneur. I did always want to make the world better. Definition of empowerment would be understanding your own potential. What creates empowerment is a framework, an environment in which you're given permission to be the best you can be, but also the fear is removed. So what do I mean by that? Most people are living in a situation where they are constantly worried about what the boss will say, what somebody else will say, will somebody appreciate you, am I good enough? In that state, you cannot be empowered. So empowerment is as much to do with the environment that you're in and the people you choose to surround yourself by, including your boss and your colleagues, as anything else. So I think empowerment is a state of realizing your own potential. Okay, so probably the best and the worst experience I've had in my career, and that sounds weird, but I moved to Geneva to work for the UN, and I got to Geneva and I got to my office, and it's this huge corner office overlooking the Palais de Nation, and I thought, yay, I've made the big time. Then I realized that the man whose office it was had worked there for 17 years and he hadn't had his contract updated. So I was suddenly a woman at the UN doing change. Disaster. However, and 2 weeks in, I thought, I cannot make this work. I can't win. But then I thought, yes, you can win. You learn from all of your experiences. You do what you know to be right. You create an environment in which people feel they have ownership of the change. What can go wrong? And it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And it's the only job that I had to retreat into my big corner office with the 2 oak tables and cry, because it was so hard, so hierarchical, so difficult to be a woman in that environment, and especially as a senior woman. And my favorite part was we got to a big event towards the end of my tenure with 6,500 world leaders in an event space in Geneva. But that wasn't the good bit. The good bit was we also had 10,000 school kids across the world who were watching the stream and feeding in over Twitter. And the Secretary General, I kept saying to him, I want you to speak from the heart at the end of the event. Write me a script. No, I want you to say what you feel about the experience. No, write me a script. I wrote him a script, and he stood up at the end, and he had 60 entrepreneurs that we brought in through these competitions. And on the screen behind him, there were children in schools across the world. Started reading the script, his voice broke, and he started speaking about what an unusual situation it had been and how empowered and inspired he felt. And just for that one moment, the whole thing was worth it. Well, oh God, that's too hard, because in every single human being that I meet, I find something that inspires me. That's my take on the world. It's like every human being has a spark, if you listen, that you can learn from. And so I'm inspired by people all the time. I wouldn't know how to answer about one person, because literally every phone call I have with people with open hearts and minds and souls, I'm inspired by them. So I'm working on a project called Frontline.live, which we've set up during the lockdown for COVID. And it's the first national map of real-time needs from frontline healthcare workers. So it's open, it's transparent, it's a way of people with needs getting the things that they need from suppliers. So real-time connection between people on the front line and people who can supply them the masks, etc. they need. We've had about 40 volunteers work with us. And every morning at 9:30, people turn up for the stand-up still. That inspires me every morning. I find it quite emotional that people are so loyal when not one penny has changed hands. All of my friends, all of the women that I've worked with over the years have inspired me in some way. I don't have a role model, not a role model. I don't. I think as in every woman that I've met who've stuck their head above the parapet and actually managed to find their way to senior positions and or to changing the world, they all inspire me. Women are awesome. To be honest, I'm a software person. I'm in the digital world. I've been in the space of digital innovation my entire career, and it's hard. It's hard to be in a meeting room with 9 men and me. And that's been my life. And it's challenging every time. And you get used to it, but it doesn't, you're still aware of it. You know, it's not easy. But I also believe that if women don't stick their heads above the parapet and take chances and be brave and learn to deal with that, we'll never change. Good question. Success to me. Success to me is actually doing something that's measurable, that makes the world a better place. So something that creates real value, not just money. And I love money, and I'm a businesswoman, but money without real value, without real impact, without making people's lives better, means nothing. I have had many mentors over the years and still do. I have my advisory board now are my mentors. There is nothing I wouldn't share with them. And I think the most important thing about having a mentor is that you can be 100% yourself with them and tell them when the chips are down and when you're depressed or you're scared or you're not sure you're doing the right thing, that they'll listen to you and feedback what you say. And the best mentors I've had have been men and women, actually, in truth. But they're people who will just often act as cardboard analysts, by which I mean they'll listen to what you say and then they'll say back to you what you said, and you realize you had the answer anyway. That you were just so caught up in your own mind and your own insecurities that you couldn't see the clarity. So mentoring to me is about being able to be 100% honest. And somebody really caring about, somebody has to be completely aligned with your values as well and understand what's important to you as an individual. Like if I had a mentor who was just about money, that wouldn't work for me, because that's not, my thing is value. So I think it's about finding somebody who you 100% trust, finding somebody that you can be 100% authentic with, and finding somebody who is totally aligned with your values. Oh my God, where do I start? Women are dippy, women are emotional, women are difficult, women are, it's absolutely ridiculous. And the very same thing, so if a man is forceful, that's amazing. If a woman is forceful, they're a bully or they're difficult. It's absolutely nonsense. And so as a woman, especially in technology, you are fighting against these cognitive biases about how men assume women are and how women are supposed to be. Some of the stereotypes, being empathetic, listening, caring, is the future of business. So I think even 10 years ago, being seen to be soft, empathetic, all of those things, they were seen as being a bad thing. I think in the new normal, empathy, connectedness, listening, this new style of leadership that companies know works is much more female. Don't be scared to be 100% yourself. Be authentic, be open, be smart. Listen to read the room. Read the room. That's probably the mistakes that I've made, is when I've been so caught up in my own, this is what needs to happen. I haven't realized that the answers are around me. So yeah, be smart, be strategic, be 100% yourself. Exactly the same advice to men. Be brave enough to be 100% yourself. You don't need to be strong. You don't need to make all the decisions. You can listen, you can learn, you can be open, you can be the person you are when you're at home with your loved ones, because that's leadership. If I were to start over again, would I do anything differently? I don't think I would. I really don't think I would. I think, no, I think I followed my heart and my mind and my ethos, which is about changing the world for the better. And I don't think I've veered from that path. And it's been tough, really tough at times. But that's who that's what's made me who I am. So therefore it was the right thing. As I said, I think that there is a new normal for work. I've been doing workshops with senior leaders on Zoom who've never met each other before. And they're, especially after COVID, there has been a shift in an understanding of what makes humans human and how you get the best out of people. You know, especially when you're in, you know, you're all in different places, you've got a distributed workforce. If there isn't real teamwork and connection, you're lost. And so I think that women have a set of behaviors that are more natural in the work environment, and I think those behaviors are going to become more important. And therefore, I think probably more women will find their way into very senior positions. Everything can be better, always. You know, for young women starting out, it's so important. Surround yourself by other women. Even if you feel that some of the women you're working with are your worst enemies, don't blame them. Make sure you've got the strongest peer network, because without my women, I wouldn't have been able to do the things I've done. So find yourself a network, find yourself people who care, and that's everything.